Now I know some people are going to ask, why am I drinking room temperature soda in this review? Well, I have to state that is a good question. And I learned recently that our taste buds can actually be slightly numbed when we drink a cold beverage. So in this review, I'm going to be tasting each 3 of these sodas at room temperature. The review today is going to be on Pepsi's new release, which is Wild Cherry and Cream Soda. Now I have the original Wild Cherry flavor right here that debuted in 1988. And then we have the regular Wild Cherry and Cream Soda right here. And then we have the Wild Cherry and Cream Zero version soda right there. I'm going to pour each one of these in a glass at room temperature, and we're gonna look at fizziness, we're gonna look at color, and then we're also going to taste it and see what we think. So this is the original cherry right here. We're going to pop the top. Ooh, a lot of fizz. Okay, pouring now. There is fizz, it goes down fairly quickly. We can see those beautiful bubbles. All right, I'm going to taste test the wild cherry flavor right now. Let's see what we think. I do taste that cherry flavor. I taste the citrus flavor of Pepsi itself, so that is all kind of commingled together in this soda. Now I must admit that I'm a huge fan of Pepsi, and regardless if Pepsi loses its fizziness pretty quickly, I'm still a huge fan of the actual taste of it. I love that citrusy taste that it usually has, and that's just how I like Pepsi. Something to note about Pepsi is it does lose its fizziness fairly quickly, I note. The bubbles usually fade pretty quickly, whereas Coca-Cola usually maintains their fizziness for a pretty long duration. Pepsi, not so much. But despite this, I have to state that I really enjoy Pepsi over Coca-Cola, and I know I'm gonna get maybe some hate in the comments, but that's just my own personal opinion. Now on to Pepsi's star of the show, which is Pepsi's new release, Wild Cherry and Cream Soda. All right, here is our Wild Cherry and Cream Soda. Popping the top now. Wow, that kind of exploded. We got some bubbles. Let's see if it's fizzy. Wow. Right off the bat, I actually smell that cream. It smells really delightful. So that's a change from the wild cherry for sure. All right. Dang, that smells good. That's like an orange cream soda pretty much. All right, going in for our taste test now. That is really delightful. It is a change from the original, for sure, of Wild Cherry. I think I really like that. It kind of reminds me of an orange creamsicle, except it's cherry. You do get a hint of that wild cherry with the cream. I think it's a really good mixture. I think people are really gonna like this. If I could improve upon anything, is take that fizziness from Coca-Cola. And I know these two have had wars and they continue to have wars, but if I'm to make a suggestion, Pepsi makes killer new sodas. Whenever it releases a new soda, usually it's pretty good. As we've seen with Coca-Cola lately, their new flavors have not been so good. And I know I'm gonna get hate, but that's just how I feel. The smell of this is absolutely delightful too. I think almost every single Coca-Cola flavor I've reviewed recently has not been very good. This, Pepsi really thought about, I can tell. And they did an absolutely great job with this. Like I said, the only con here would be the fizziness. If it could have slightly more fizz, that would be good. However, I have to state that maybe a reason why Pepsi doesn't improve upon their fizziness is because I think fizz and bubbles can take away from the taste of your soda. But I think if you're gonna have soda, it's really delightful to have some bubbles in there. So I would like that. That is really good. All right, now we're gonna move on to the last Pepsi, which is Wild Cherry and Cream Soda Zero version. All right, this is the Wild Cherry and Cream Zero version. It's got a black banner around it, popping the top now. Okay, and giving it a pour now. A good amount of bubbles. Wow, it looks like the bubbles are maintaining themselves a lot longer than the other ones we poured, however, not for very long. All right, I'm going to go in for the smell test now. smells very similar to the Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream soda that we tried. I don't notice much difference about the smell there. What this tastes like is very similar to what we just had. However, I would say the sugar taste is significantly lower. It does not taste as sugary. It doesn't mean it's not as good, but that is what I'm noting. It seems to be a little more bubbly and poppy than the others, and that's an improvement. I think in terms of taste, I've got to say that the Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream flavor is definitely better than this zero version of Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream Zero. It doesn't mean that this one isn't good. I think I just like the sweeter version of this better. And now for my conclusion. All three of these were very tasty. In order from worst to best, I've got to say the zero was probably the worst. Doesn't mean it wasn't good. Second favorite would have to be the Wild Cherry original flavor. And then I'm going to say my number one favorite is Pepsi's Wild Cherry and Cream soda. That's how I would rank them. Zero had that artificial taste. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best. The original Wild Cherry flavor is very good. I like that too, but I think the Wild Cherry and Cream soda just went a bit over the top, and I really enjoyed that. Like I said, the one con here for Pepsi products, I would say, would be that they don't have as much fizz as you would kind of hope. And I think that deters people from choosing it. But if you give this a chance, you sit down and you analyze the taste of these at room temperature, I think you may notice that you will really, really enjoy Pepsi. With that, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!